Hello, Contrarians, listeners, watchers, subscribers. Here we are with the latest Contrarians warm-up. This one is for our Assassin's Creed episode, one of a handful of video game adaptations that we've tackled on the show. And by a handful, I mean this is the third one. We figured out we did Silent Hill way back in, I think, year one of the show. Many episodes later, we did
Kim Coates in Silent Hill.
See, I already forgotten about that. I just know the triangle head. That's what I remember.
Pyramid head, Julio.
Okay, well, close enough. I remember you geeking out, and I was like, I guess that's from the game. Then we did Street Fighter, Unavoidable.
Yes,
we
classic.
Had Billy and Topher from the show that at the time was called We Watch a Thing. And they joined us, and we talked about Street Fighter, and we celebrated everything that is rightful to be celebrated in that movie. And now here comes Assassin's Creed, and once again we won't be alone in the main episode. When you listen to podcasts, it'll be Alex, it'll be me, and then it'll be Techtic and Nerdbomber from the Online Warriors podcast. So if you're wondering how we handle Assassin's Creed when neither Alex or I are familiar with that property, well, that's because they are. So yes. It was a lot. They were clippy in that episode.
Clippy.
We would just
talk about the movie. His name was Clippy.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Hey, did you know that?" Or it was like those old DVDs that would have the
pop-up video. Might be the reference we're going for here.
Pop-up video is better.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like was it Infinifilm? It's like what eventually.
Oh
become,
yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They give you the factoids, but I like pop-up video better.
BD Live was like when the first round of Blu-rays, like things would like in real time pop up and shit.
Yes.
You remember that? There was a time where the Blu-rays like would sync to your internet connection and show whatever, like it would show trailers for things like coming out, so it could potentially change if you watched it like 6 months later.
That's awesome. When did we stop caring, Alex?
Been saying it for years. No, but part of it was like it also, because I had a few of those, it would dramatically affect its ability to start up, like the disc to like boot up after a while, and so the thought was there, but for
basically we stopped caring once the technology caught up with what we wanted to do. We're like, I don't want to anymore. Like now we could do that, but we don't care.
I'll just pull up YouTube on my phone.
Yes. But anyway, so we'll have the Online Warriors, 2 of them at least, on the main show. But here is just Alex and I for this warm-up. You know what to expect. Rotten Tomatoes quotes, trivia, the Josh Gad Minute, all for this extremely rotten movie. What is it, Alex? 17%, I think?
It's bad. I can tell you that right now without even having to look it up here. But 18% looks like. Yeah.
It might have gone up a percentage point since
that's on the Wikipedia page. I'll cross-reference here just to be sure, but it's also worth calling out that we're recording this 2 months after we watched the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we were, for those who follow our Patreon account now, Julio was out of the country for almost a month, so we were stockpiling our episodes, and so I had kind of washed myself clean of this movie, and Julio's like, we still have to record this. So yes, on the Rotten Tomatoes website, 228 reviews comprised to give us an 18% on the Tomatometer. Over 50,000 reviews recorded on, this has a name now, the Popcorn Meter.
Oh yeah, it's still, so they've implemented it. I saw the headlines, and okay. I guess it's now happening. Yeah, now you can be certified fresh, and you can also be certified hot popcorn or something.
Kill me. All right. 42% on that, so still a sad green tipped over popcorn bucket. Looks like it was left behind in the theater. So
certified drop popcorn. Yeah, it's a shame.
Not even the overwhelming hotness of Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard sharing the screen.
Nope. We didn't know what we had at the time. I think that's the problem. Looking back on it, we're like, God, will it ever happen again? Let's start with the quotes. As you said, Alex, it's been a couple months since we did this recording. So maybe let's see if I can jog your memory with some of these. Dominic Griffin from Spectrum Culture says, nothing tempers expectations for a film's quality like seeing based on the hit video game tucked away on the poorly produced poster.
I have no sympathy for someone who went and saw this movie and didn't know it was a video game. This isn't like something like hidden. It's like, Super Mario. Like someone went and saw Super Mario Brothers in 1993, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is based on. Like Assassin's Creed's. I mean, it's not Call of Duty, but it's one of the more famous franchises of the 21st century. So, no sympathy.
Who goes to Assassin's Creed not knowing it's a video game? Like a hardcore Marion Cotillard fan, just
Yeah, I mean,
following her from her French career.
this is cinema. It's got Fassbender, Cotillard, fucking Jeremy Irons is in this movie. Like it's, I get it, but
Well,
still, do your due diligence.
my main takeaway is that jab at the poster, poorly produced poster. Uh, there's like at least 3 posters that I've seen, Alex. I think that the main one, the one that I'm assuming was plastered over every movie theater, was the dual Fassbender,
Yeah,
right?
that's the one I know. That like, it's the duality of man. It's the yin and yang,
Yes.
and it's your destiny is in your blood.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes
Sign me
sense.
up.
There's maybe the international release poster that is Fassbender, just one Fassbender, and it's more like a medium shot, and he's just kind of like in an action pose, looking at the at the
He's in the
audience.
Magneto pose.
Yes, yeah, the assassin pose. And then there's something that's similar, but inside Fassbender, there's like the rest of the cast. So
I remember
Jeremy
that one.
Irons, Marion
That might have
Cotillard.
been like the DVD art or something, because I remember seeing that. Yeah. It's like, that was a thing for a while. You use the body as like the template
Uh-huh.
to like, and then you fill it out with all the other players like involved. So
I don't think that it makes much sense though. Like, what are
I
you
think that's why it
saying?
didn't last long. Yeah.
They're all inside him. That's not like, give me different Fassbenders inside him. I can get that, but anyway, I don't know which one was the poorly produced poster. I think that they may be silly, but they're not poorly produced. They
It was the one that said there are no clean getaways.
yes, in Spanish, because he's a
Mm.
Spaniard when he travels back in time. All right, next, Donald Clark from the Irish Times says, one is left racking brains as to why these talented people wasted so much time. It's not even the best video game adaptation released in the past 12 months. Come back, Angry Birds. All is forgiven.
Having not seen that, I think that's it's a pretty big claim there. Let's see who was in the Angry Birds movie. There's 2 Angry Birds movies. Because I'm going to
Yes.
guess the first one made a lot of money, $350 million. Well, that's a lot of money. Okay, Jason Sudeikis, Peter Dinklage, Bill Hader, Josh Gad, Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, Sean Penn. Yeah,
The fuck?
so why not? Aquafina,
I wonder how many of those came back for the sequel.
Sterling K. Brown.
Like, I'm pretty sure Sudeikis came back, but I don't know that you get Dinklage or Penn back into it.
Yeah, it just keeps going here, man.
Meryl Streep.
I'm on the 4th line of credits, and Beck Bennett and Hannibal Buress are in it. So
It's a lot of birds.
I believe it. And we talk about at length in the episode to Shirley MacLaine, Jesus, to some level of debate, because there's 4 people on this episode, and I think the enjoyment varies greatly, as you'll see or hear. Omar Sy's in it, as you'll hear, but I think the thing I consistently go back to is like, how with this cast am I this bored? So point taken.
Yeah, well, this guy, Donald Clark, says, come back, Angry Birds. And Angry Birds came back, apparently, because there was a sequel. Nobody
It
said,
did.
come back, Assassin's Creed. Fassbender was waiting. He had like 3 more stories planned, and not to be. Next, Liam McGurin from Flicks says, it's only a few quick cuts and a camera shake shy from being Taken 3.
No.
I haven't seen Taken 3, so I can tell you. I think that, if anything, you could have swapped. You could put Liam Neeson instead of the guard. What's his name?
One thing that I would. Oh wow, Taken 3 is longer by 5 minutes, so don't even get that. But one thing I would all but guarantee is that Taken 3 is not filled with half as much exposition It's just like,
Well, it's the third one, Alex. They already
she's
explained everything.
she's taken. Time to find her.
What's the name of Fassbender's dad in the movie?
Isn't it Brendan Gleeson?
Yes, Gleason. Okay,
Yeah.
could you ever replace Gleason with Neeson?
That'd be awesome, dude. Liam Neeson and Michael Fassbender playing father and son in a movie.
Yeah. They get the one scene, but that's all you need. And then you get the sequel or a prequel. Give me the early days of Liam Neeson as an assassin.
In a just world, we'd be up to the A-Team 3 and
You will never
Fassbender.
let it go.
No, the A-Team was incredible. And we fit. It's, and me saying that, someone who's like anti rehashing properties and whatnot, that movie is fucking fantastic. And we as a society failed. The second one was going to have fucking John Hamm as the bad guy. And we could be up to 4 right now with Fassbender being the bad guy. And then the reveal is that he's Hannibal's son. Yeah.
Alex, they're all still around. So technically, it could still happen.
Rampage ain't got shit going on. So, yeah.
Shirley Copley might be a little difficult to convince.
Oh, Bradley Cooper would be the hardest one to get back. Be like, oh man, he's just like comes with all his Oscars and shit.
He'll come back, but he'll direct. He's like, I'm only coming back if I direct and Faze gets killed the first 15 minutes.
And he gets top billing.
Yes. Yeah. Next, Jackie K. Cooper from JackieKCooper.com says, it's got a lot of action to it. It doesn't require a lot of acting. So I don't know why they wanted to get a cast this big.
That's a very fair point. Not gonna lie. You can credit this movie for having very high ambitions. I just think like it's like making like Matty Matheson says a lot of times that like a great sandwich is dependent on the dramatic contrast of like expensive and cheap. Like he talked about like Wagyu beef with cheese whiz on it. Like he's like, that sounds incredible. And he talks about like if you have like really good meat and really good cheese on a sandwich, the bun needs to be shitty because like that should never distract from it. And I think this movie is an example of like not necessarily a sandwich, but like a stew or like some sort of like some dish that went very wrong when they tried like using like very high grade meat and then everything else was shitty. It's like if you made like you used like some sort of like, you know, fucking just high shelf Italian sausage or something to make lasagna with.
Fassbender sausage.
And then just like use fucking SpaghettiOs for like the sauce and the noodles and shit like that. Like, no, you know what it is? That's a poor example. What this is something that looks amazing, and then it's like a pie that looks incredible, and you cut it open, and it's full of garbage. Because like this, the aesthetic is good, so that's the difference. This isn't a good sandwich. This is, it looks like a great sandwich, then you bite into it, and you're like, oh, this is like week old Arby's. What is this?
But it shouldn't be. Because all the ingredients are great. You have your Fassbender, your Cotillard, your pinch of Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
So
fresh Arby's roast beef with horsey sauce is fantastic. But you know,
sprinkle some Gleason.
You let someone get yeah, Gleason is the sesame seeds on the bun. As you can tell, I'm hungry, so I'm making my food analogies here. The point being, someone bought a bunch of top shelf, high level ingredients and somehow turned around and made like a fucking Little Caesars pizza with
it. Well, that leads to this question. Is this a better movie if you just cast unknowns? If there's no names? Assassin's Creed, direct to video, and it's just a bunch of randos that you've never seen before.
Saying it's a better movie, I don't know, but it's not as bad. Because that's the problem. And that's something that I already have harped on and continue to do so in the episode. Is just, Jesus Christ, dude, look at the talent you have here. Look how good this movie looks most of the time. There's some pretty shoddy sequences. But like, to your point, absolutely. If I saw this and it was no one I'd ever heard of and it was this, I'd be way more forgiving of it.
Well, we're going to close with Jason Best from Movie Talk, who says, combining conspiratorial gobbledygook with lots of running and jumping over medieval rooftops, this adaptation of the popular video game series comes across as the Da Vinci Code with added parkour.
Nice. Like that.
Did you get a Da Vinci Code vibe from the mystery, the conspiracies?
Yeah, I could see that. It's not... Now, it's not like I had Tom Hanks with his weird shoulder-length hair dancing in my head, but
when you were watching the Da Vinci Code? Were you thinking this needs parkour? That's what it's missing here.
I remember liking the Da Vinci Code, and I remember it was a very polarizing film. So
Yeah, it was. I just remember the hair. Everybody talking about the hair, and that's more than people talked about Assassin's Creed. I think in its entire run. So
I also
nobody.
remember the Da Vinci Code being very long. So who knows? I might be more receptive to watching this again because it is only an hour and 40 minutes.
With 15 minutes of credits, remember?
That's right. Yeah, has a merciful runtime with a very extended credit sequence.
All right. Well, those are the quotes, Alex. Let's go to the Josh Gad Minute.
You're gonna have to help out with this one. Um,
I mean, you have your assassins, you have your Templars,
mm-hmm.
and then I guess maybe you have. I mean, you don't even have anybody in between. It's literally it's like the good guys and the bad guy.
So Gad could be like the head security guard at
Yes,
the
yes. There's a guy that must be, and I remember if we brought this up in the episode. Uh, he looks like they give him the treatment like we should know who he is. Like he's a well-known actor, but
he's the dude
he's
from.
not.
It's the guy from the opening scene of *Inglourious Bastards*. That's what I kept referencing. He's the guy that
Okay.
Christoph Waltz is like. I know you're hiding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I almost want to watch the movie again so I can appreciate those close-ups because the entire time I was like, "Who is this guy? I don't know him." And my assumption was, well, this kind of a European co-production, so maybe he's a big name in Europe. Well, now I know he's man. Didn't give him anything to do.
Uh-oh.
Standing there.
Dennis Menashet, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Not entirely positive. Dennis, apologize if I'm getting that wrong. But yeah, because the other option would be like he would be like the head prisoner, or like the one causing all the issues. Or are they prisoners?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They're
held
being.
captive. But I don't want to replace Michael K. Williams.
No, there's another one. There's a younger one that gets killed in the fracas towards the end. The
There's a lot of
younger
people that get
assassin,
killed in this. Yeah.
or he replaces Gleason. I know
And
every now and
he's
then I'll make the impassioned plea to use technology to either age or de-age Gad so he can fit in these recastings.
or he can just play Gleason when he was younger because the opening of the movie is like when Fassbender's a kid.
Right.
It's a flashback scene. Yeah.
So
God. Josh Gad with his fingers cut off.
Gleason is a redhead, right? Or is he blonde?
Yeah, he's a bit grayer these days, but yeah, he's like a strawberry blonde.
So either way, you have to dye Gad's hair.
Oh, Gad's gonna be rocking a wig of some sort. So basically, the options we've given you is he plays a younger version of Brendan Gleeson. He's the head guard of this. He's the head security guard at this prison, or he's like the head prisoner, one of the head prisoners. So
Yeah.
take your pick.
If he
He's
replaces
the assassin.
If he replaces the head guard, then he also replaces him in *Inglourious Bastards*. So
Jesus.
keep that in mind.
Sign me up.
Yes. And the Oscar goes to Josh Gad for *Inglourious Bastards*. All right, well, that was a Josh Gad minute. I think we did a good job. Man, better than I expected.
Given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances and how long ago we watched the movie. So, Alex, take us to trivia.
All right. Assassin's Creed was a Christmas movie in the United States and France. It was released 2 weeks before Christmas. Premiered, 2 weeks before Christmas. In the U.S. and French release date was December 21st of 2016. Potential tactical error. The film underperformed at the box office, grossing $240.7 million worldwide against its $125 million budget. A sequel was planned, but due to the film's negative reception and disappointing box office result, it was canceled by Disney after its acquisition of 20th Century Fox in 2019. It sounds like it went through a bit of development hell. Not hell, but just like it was a process. And we talk about in the episode, the director here that we have, Justin Kurzel, and the screenplay by Michael Leslie, Adam Cooper, and Bill College. But our director, Justin Kurzel, had worked with not only Michael Fassbender, but Marion Cotillard prior to this. So apparently there was some desire for this to happen, and it took a while for it to actually come to fruition. It filmed throughout 2015 into 2016. Initial negotiations to release a Assassin's Creed film were in 2011. So there was a lot of parts. As you know, that's going to be the case with video game movies nowadays because video games are much bigger properties than they were in the 90s. It's not, in the case of Street Fighter, that was just an arcade cabinet that had a home release port. This is a whole thing that encompasses.
Also, I mean, I don't think that they were too interested in keeping true to the game. I think that there's an effort in this movie to at least make it recognizable as an Assassin's Creed movie. But do you think part of the delay was that they were all waiting on Jeremy Irons to finish the game? It's like, I will not start shooting until I know how the story ends.
I think we talked about this in the episode. This did get released in 3D. I think it got like an IMAX 3D release or something. There was something preposterous about it. On the trivia section of IMDb, the one thing I could believe more than anything was just a lone entry. Marion Cotillard had never played the game when she signed on for the film. I would wager to bet Marion Cotillard still hasn't played the game. I wonder if Marion Cotillard's ever
picked up a controller.
Picture Marion Cotillard holding a Dreamcast controller. Oh, what do I do with this?
Joke's gonna be on you, Alex, because I can't wait for the flood of just candid pictures of Mario Cotillard as a hardcore gamer. You just have no idea.
That's the one of the vice presidential nominees right now. There's Tim Walz. Have you read that thing about he was a big Dreamcast fan and he played a ton of Crazy Taxi? Like, can't relate, brother.
I keep waiting for the JD Vance picture of him playing Guitar Hero. It's like, oh man, stop trying.
He's got it upside down.
Yeah.
The man never played Mother in his life. Olivia Munn expressed interest in appearing in the film. I mean, I like Olivia Munn, but that might have given it a more the video game tone.
I like how you're trying to find the right word that's not the meaning. I know what you're saying.
She's good as Psylocke. She's the best part of that movie.
She's great. She's one of my favorite characters in the newsroom, but I know what you mean.
She's not Marion Cotillard.
She's not a French actress mostly known for artsy movies who has an Oscar for
Criterion entries. Yeah. Exactly. 80% of the film, including stunts, extras, and locations, were shot on camera without using CGI. So that's a win for the good guys on this. Director Justin Kurzel didn't want to show assassins as heroes and Templars as villains, or the opposite, because both ideologies can't be clearly called right or wrong, and both of them can be corrupted. They can go to extremes, anarchy for assassins and control for Templars. I appreciate that, but one, I don't think this is the vehicle to try to tell that story, and two, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're kind of supposed to be rooting for the assassins because they're the bad guys in this.
I think the sequel maybe was supposed to show you the shades of gray, but this is very, very straightforward, bad guys, good guys.
Marion Cotillard told French magazine Studio Cinelive in May 2016 that when she was on set or From the Land of the Moon, she received a new version of the script of Assassin's Creed and discovered that her character, and by extension the film, no longer corresponded to what she had loved. She called director Justin Kurzel, and he fully agreed with her disagreements. For 15 days, Kurzel, Michael Fassbender, and Cotillard reworked the script. So again, this goes back to what you're saying. This wasn't just pin me, pay me type shit. I don't know.
I'm just laughing the entire time because I'm anticipating your Marion Cotillard impression.
Well, it's also, I think that we might be onto something with this here because it's a video game movie after all. And there's a lot of video games I've played in my life that are better than a lot of movies I've seen, so I'm not trying to take away from it, but it's I would argue to succeed, it's very hard. Last of Us is a great example because The Last of Us doesn't at any point have Pedro Pascal. Joel doesn't jump off the edge of a cliff to try to avoid, getting shot with an arrow or some shit like that. The Last of Us is a very intense game, and it's portrayed quite well by the television show. Assassin's Creed based on my very limited knowledge, yes, it's violent, has an intense story, but like Metal Gear Solid is what I would say. There's still an air of like kind of fun to it, and the idea that you have these just intensely serious actors taking the source material and writing it and trying to like translate that to the screen. I think that could be part of the issues that came about with this. From what ended up on the screen was like, what?
A
It
little too
feels like there's a
intense.
big chunk of this missing. Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Yeah, I think there's at least 3 leaps of faith in the, like, literal leaps of faith. What do you call leap of faith in the movie, and I guess in the game, where he
Hmm.
jumps and yeah, you're right. I think that they're a little too preoccupied with I guess it being a serious movie, that you don't really get the sense of fun that I imagine you get when you do a leap of faith in the game,
Hmm.
right? It just kind of happens, and you're like, and then what? And so yeah, who knows? I mean, we definitely. It's funny because we talked about this movie and by extension the game for about 2 hours with our friends from the Online Warriors podcast, and as you can tell, we didn't arrive to any sort of conclusion as far as like what happened. We have theories. We have like we can tell you what we liked, what we didn't like, and what we would have done better maybe. But in the end, I don't think any of us is going to be satisfied until we sit down with Michael Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, and Justin, the director, and we just have a
Griselle.
heart to heart about like what is it that they like when they set out to do this, like what was in their mind, and how
A big
much
thing.
of that got lost.
A big thing that I think we talk about in the episode. Correct me if I'm wrong or if you remember. Fassbender was a producer on this movie,
Mm-hmm.
like from the beginning, and he, according to this, he like did editing on it after post production and shit. So it's like he was there from day one until far beyond calling rap. He put it in the tins and slapped the sticker on it and sent it off to the movie theaters. Uh, so just exactly to your point.
He was working podium at the premiere. It's like 30 tickets.
Welcome. Um, the original cut was close to 2.5 hours, so they whittled roughly 40 minutes off of the movie. I know I've read that the DVD and Blu-ray releases of it had a pretty significant chunk of deleted scenes that were included. I didn't read what they were about in the sense of like expanding the story or anything, but yeah, just in closing here, it's probably was some fun to make. They shot it in a ton of different locations, and like we said, we had a cast that I would hope, speaking to some of the people involved with this, it would be one of those things. Well, I got the experience to work with this guy or whatnot, but this will go down as one of the more quizzical entries in the Contrarians library in the sense of just like because it wasn't such a spectacular flop or bomb that it's like notorious. It's just this movie that came and went, and those who know about it by and large are just like kind of dismissive of it, which makes it all the more intriguing and makes me wish that there was like a panel or something that we could go to and be like, yes, I have a question and a comment.
Michael
Assassin's
Fassbender.
Creed, watch it and judge for yourself, and then be sure to listen to our episode.
Yes, Michael Fassbender. If you're hearing this somewhere, hit us up. We're down to just sit and talk about Assassin's Creed. You can
We'll give you
vent.
a platform.
Yes, we'll give you we'll let you paint the Fassbender cut with your words, and we'll see. We'll see if we can maybe get that sequel to happen again. Much like with the A Team, everybody's still available. Everybody's still out there, so it could happen. The game is on its like 10th iteration, I think. So we're good. But anyway, that is Assassin's Creed. Listen to the episode. Check out our podcast and the Online Warriors podcast. Check out the movie. It's on, it wasn't when we recorded the episode 2 months ago, but now it's on Tubi. So if
Nice.
you want to watch Assassin's Creed for free, check it out there. As far as our next episode, what you need to do for homework is watch not a video game adaptation, but a comic book adaptation. We are going to tackle Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if the score is worse than Assassin's Creed, but it is rotten. So we're doubling up on the green splotches for this one. Uh, you're looking it up?
I am right now. It's just a few ticks higher, 22%.
Okay, so live in the same neighborhood. So,
Adapted material, all the same.
mm-hmm. Again, a lot of big names
Rob Schneider,
Schneider,
Sly,
most of all,
Armand DeSanti,
Max von Sydow.
Diane Lane.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So watch Assassin's Creed, watch Judge Dredd, listen to the show, watch our videos on YouTube, do everything. And thank you for doing so. We'll talk to you again soon.